Have you ever felt like you're constantly running, but not getting anywhere? Chasing approval, attention, or success, yet still feeling incomplete? You're not alone. In a world that glorifies achievement, status, and validation from others, we often forget that the most powerful source of transformation doesn't come from the outside. It comes from within. Imagine this: all the energy you spend pleasing others, scrolling endlessly through social media, or comparing your life to someone else's highlight reel. What if that energy was redirected inward? What would your life look like then? This isn't just self-help talk. It's rooted deeply in one of Earth's oldest and most profound philosophies, Buddhism. The Buddha taught that true peace doesn't come from fixing the world around us. It comes from understanding, observing, and mastering the world within us. So here's the question: what happens when you truly focus on yourself? Not in a selfish or narcissistic way, but through self-awareness, inner clarity, and compassionate self-examination. In this video, we're going to explore how ancient Buddhist wisdom offers powerful insights into modern life. We'll look at how shifting your focus inward can reduce anxiety, bring clarity to your decisions, and ultimately help you live with a sense of freedom most people only dream of. From breaking toxic cycles to reconnecting with your inner calm, this journey is about reclaiming your mind. It's about learning that your attention is your most valuable asset, and when it's directed toward understanding yourself, everything begins to change. Ready to stop outsourcing your happiness and start building it from within? Let's dive into why focusing on yourself may be the most selfless and transformative act you'll ever take. We live in a society that constantly tells us who we should be. From a young age, we're conditioned to seek praise, to be the smartest, the most polite, the most successful. Teachers reward with gold stars. Parents cheer us on when we win. Peers admire us when we meet certain standards. As we grow older, this need for validation doesn't disappear. It simply evolves. It becomes about likes on social media, compliments at work, or admiration from others. And slowly, we lose sight of who we are when no one's watching. This is the silent trap of external validation. It's subtle, it's seductive, and it's exhausting. When your sense of self-worth is determined by someone else's opinion, you're giving away the keys to your peace. You become reactive, constantly adjusting who you are to fit the mold of who you think you should be. And here's the truth: external validation is never enough. It's like trying to fill an endless void with a leaky bucket. No amount of praise can heal an identity built on other people's standards. Think about this. You post something online. It doesn't get the attention you hoped for. Why does that sting? Because somewhere in your mind, that reaction has become a reflection of your value. That's how deep this programming goes. It shapes how we feel about ourselves day in, day out. But Buddhism offers a radically different perspective. The Buddha taught that both praise and blame are fleeting, impermanent, empty. To build your identity on such unstable ground is to live in constant uncertainty. But when you turn inward, when you sit with your thoughts, question your motives, observe your reactions, everything starts to shift. You realize you're not defined by others. You're not the roles you play or the applause you chase. You're something far deeper, an awareness that doesn't change based on opinion. Letting go of the need for validation doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop depending. You become rooted in self-understanding, not external applause. That's where real strength comes from. That's where peace begins. At the heart of Buddhism lies a simple yet powerful truth. The root of suffering is not the world around us, but our attachment to it. This is why self-focus in the Buddhist sense is not selfish, it's essential. It's the conscious decision to turn inward, observe your mind, and understand the true nature of your experience. One of the foundational teachings in Buddhism is mindfulness, or sati. It means to be fully present, to pay attention to what's happening inside you without judgment or resistance. In our modern lives, we're rarely present. We dwell in regrets or anxieties, drifting through moments without ever truly being in them. But mindfulness trains us to anchor ourselves in the now, to notice our breath, our sensations, our emotions. And in that presence, we begin to regain control of our inner world. Another profound teaching is anatta, or non-self. This principle tells us that our identity is not fixed, it's fluid. The roles we play, the beliefs we carry, even our strongest opinions, they're all temporary, like clouds passing through the sky. When we focus on ourselves through a Buddhist lens, we begin to see that the things we cling to, labels, stories, fears, are not who we are. This insight brings deep freedom. Meditation is the gateway to this self-focus. In silence, we meet ourselves. We notice our cravings, our aversions, and the subtle ways our mind tries to escape discomfort. Over time, this observation sharpens into wisdom. We stop reacting, we start choosing. We see clearly how suffering arises and how it can dissolve. Equally important is metta, or loving kindness. Buddhism teaches that true awareness must be paired with compassion. Self-focus isn't about self-criticism. It's about embracing ourselves fully with kindness, patience, and grace. When we turn inward with love, transformation becomes possible. Buddhist self-focus doesn't pull us away from the world. It prepares us to meet it more skillfully. With each breath, we become less reactive, more centered. We make choices aligned with wisdom, not impulse. We begin to live, not in fear or distraction, but in awareness. And in that awareness, we discover peace, not from the world, but from within. So how do we begin to focus on ourselves in a meaningful way? It's not about becoming self-absorbed or turning away from others. It's about developing a deeper awareness of how we move through the world moment by moment. The first and most accessible step is mindfulness. Begin with just 5 minutes a day. Sit quietly, close your eyes, and pay attention to your breath. Thoughts will come, and that's okay. The goal isn't to eliminate thinking, but to observe without getting carried away. Each time you notice your mind wandering and gently bring it back to the breath, you're strengthening the muscle of awareness. Over time, this creates a calm, steady mind that can handle life's chaos with grace. Journaling is another powerful tool. Each evening, write down your thoughts, emotions, and reactions from the day. Over time, patterns will emerge. You'll start to see what triggers your stress, what lifts your mood, and where your mind tends to dwell. This awareness builds self-understanding, and that's the foundation of all self-growth. You're no longer just living, you're learning from your life in real time. Creating intentional space for solitude is essential. Not just being alone, but disconnecting from distractions. Take a walk without your phone. Sit by a window and simply observe. These quiet moments help you hear the voice within, the one that's often drowned out by external noise. In silence, clarity speaks. Boundaries are vital. Start saying no to things that drain your energy. You don't owe everyone your time, your energy, or your emotional bandwidth. Protecting your peace isn't selfish, it's necessary. The more you say no to what doesn't serve you, the more room you create for what does. That's when your energy starts working for you, not against you. Another Buddhist-inspired practice is mindful speech. Before you speak, pause. Ask yourself, is it true? Is it kind? Is it necessary? This not only improves your relationships, but it also trains you to become more conscious of your inner dialogue. Over time, you begin to change the way you speak to yourself, and that's where deep healing starts. Finally, end your day with self-reflection. Ask yourself, did I live in alignment with my values today? Did I honor myself? What would I do differently tomorrow? These simple questions, asked consistently, become a powerful compass. These practices, though small, stack up over time. They lead to something enduring, inner strength, clarity, and transformation from the inside out. Focusing on yourself sounds simple, but in practice it can feel incredibly difficult. We're not conditioned to sit with our thoughts. We're conditioned to distract ourselves, to stay busy, to numb discomfort with endless noise and tasks. So when we begin the journey of self-focus, it's natural to feel resistance. It's unfamiliar territory. One of the first challenges is discomfort. When you turn inward, things you've long ignored begin to surface. Old fears, unresolved regrets, lingering doubts. The mind can feel louder than ever before. But Buddhist teachings remind us Discomfort is not the enemy, it's the gateway. Mindfulness trains us to observe pain, not suppress it. When we learn to sit with discomfort, we begin to see that emotions, no matter how intense, are impermanent. They rise, they fall, and they eventually pass. And every time we stay present through the storm, we come out stronger. Another challenge is impatience. In a fast-paced world, we crave instant results. But the journey inward is slow, subtle, and often invisible. You won't always feel progress, and that's okay. Growth often happens silently, like roots growing underground. The key is to trust the process. Show up every day, meditate, reflect, breathe. Tiny actions compound into powerful transformation. Then there's self-judgment. The more aware you become, the more flaws you notice. It's tempting to rebuke yourself, but Buddhist wisdom calls for compassion. We are not our mistakes. We are the awareness that sees them. Growth doesn't come from shame, it comes from love. So meet yourself with the same tenderness you'd offer a friend. That's not weakness, that's courage. Comparison is another major obstacle. You might look at others and think they're further along, more centered, more at peace. But self-focus isn't a competition, it's a personal journey. Your path is uniquely yours. There's no perfect pace, only honest, intentional steps forward. And then there's fear. Fear of change, fear of what you'll find within, fear of letting go of who you've been. But often what we fear the most is exactly what we need to face. On the other side of fear lies freedom. The freedom to live, not from the expectations of others, but from your clarity. Overcoming these challenges is not about perfection, it's about persistence. Every time you choose stillness over distraction, self-compassion over self-judgment, and presence over avoidance, you grow. And in those quiet, committed choices, real transformation begins. You've made it this far because something inside you is ready for change. Not surface-level change, but the kind that reshapes how you live, how you think, and how you see yourself. Focusing on yourself is not about isolation or selfishness. It's about taking full responsibility for your peace, your growth, and your happiness. It's about realizing that the world outside may be unpredictable, but the world within you can become a sanctuary, calm, clear, and deeply grounded. The journey inward is not always easy. You'll face resistance, fear, and discomfort. But each time you sit with yourself instead of running, each time you observe instead of react, you take another step toward freedom. And in that freedom, you discover a quiet joy. A joy not dependent on achievements, praise, or approval, but rooted in self-awareness and presence. The Buddha didn't promise a life without pain. He promised a path through it, and that path begins with you, with your breath, your awareness, your willingness to look inward and stay. So take a moment right now to breathe deeply. Feel the air enter your lungs. Feel your body anchor you to this present moment. That's where peace lives. Not in the past, not in the future, but right here, in the now. Remember, you don't need to wait for permission to grow. You don't need to chase anyone's approval to be whole. Your journey is valid. Your focus matters. Your inner world deserves your attention. And the more you nurture your inner world, the more strength, compassion, and clarity you bring to everything around you. Thank you for taking the time to reflect, to grow, and to walk this path of self-discovery. If this video helped you in any way, please consider liking, subscribing, and sharing it with someone who might need it. Let's continue growing, one mindful step at a time.